to celebrate the life of Leon Lanier, a husband, a father, and a businessman. Let me tell you a story about an 8-year-old boy who was lured to a car when he was standing in his yard by offering him an ice cream. They put him in the car, took him away, and took him to a new life. They took him to this house. There were children playing, and the man told him that he was his father. So he stayed there with his brother, his stepmother, and his father. Leon Lanier was born in September the 22nd, 1925. His mother was Letitia Lanier, and she died in childbirth. He was raised by his maternal grandmother until he was 8 when his father took him. And he was not allowed to finish high school because he had to work to bring money to the home. He was drafted into the Army and worked in intelligence. He was sent to Chicago for training, where he was getting out of a taxi cab and he sat his bags on the sidewalk and someone stole them. He swore he would never go to Chicago again after that time. He had a physical after he had been in the Army, and he was told that he would get a medical discharge because he had varicose veins so bad. At the age of 33, he met the love of his life, and they were married. Her name was Lyde Thomas, and they had a double ceremony with her sister Lucille and her fiance. They even went on their honeymoon together. My dad took over my grandfather's tractor place and turned it into a hardware store. Many men came in that store looking for parts for this and that, looking for, sometimes we had seed there, we had hay there, we had pine straw there. There was just a lot of different things farm-wise that people could get. And the men would come frequent enough that they became friends, and they would, on their leisure time, they would come and they would sit around the wood stove and roast peanuts and drink Coca-Colas. And this went on for years. He developed many friendships that way. He had salesmen that came in from time to time, and he began to build relationships with them as well. They would take him out to eat, and every time they'd come through, they would have their time with him, just like his friends at the store did. There was an incident, my father ran the store till 1993. That was 43 years he had run that store. He decided he wanted to spend time with his grandchildren. My dad was 39 when I was born. My mom was 38. And he had to take care of us a lot because my mom was sick and I was little. And when I was 2 years old, there was an incident that happened that my life was at risk, and my mother was taken to Dorothea Dix, and I went to live with my Aunt Lucille for a while until things kind of got settled down. And so my mom was kind of in and out of the hospital. My dad would cook. He would do the laundry. He would clean house some, but she always felt like she had to do that. But he would do as much work as he could to help. and still working till 5:30 in the evening, running chicken houses. We had 21,000 chickens that he had to take care of as well. He worked every day but Sunday. Sunday, he was in church, unless he was deathly ill. Dad served as the mayor of Beulahville in 1979. He then served as police commissioner and water and sewer commissioner. During that time, they tried to have my mother arrested. There was some marijuana that was growing on someone else's land that they were saying was growing on hers. Anyway, it was something crazy. My dad's life was threatened many times when he was in office, and he even had someone to draw a gun whenever he was in a meeting. That was the end of his political career. He decided, even though several people wanted him to run again, he was not going to run for mayor. He was also a devoted Christian, and he was on the church deacon board. In conclusion, my dad was a great man, a great American, a great father, a great person in the eyes of many. My father was loved by many. In return, he showed unconditional love to all. I miss the days that I have with my father, but I'll see him again in heaven one day. I love you, Dad. I miss you, Dad. I thank you all for listening to the story of my dad. I bless you and I wish you well.